Hey guys, hey
Hey
everyone.
Richard. Hey guys.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So I couldn't get my internet, like my phone wouldn't go live. It kept saying there was an issue with the connection, so I had a small little panic attack, and I'm fine now. I just need I need to drink a little bit more of my beer, and I'll be completely fine.
Nothing a Xanax would not help you.
Right. Hey Mercedes, what's up, Mercedes?
So good to see
So
everybody.
So I just want to say too, me and Maggie were talking a little bit offline, and Vika, I honestly, the more I thought about doing this live, I'm super excited to talk to Fabrice, but I wouldn't be doing this live, I don't think, if it was for you, honestly, because
Yeah.
I've always collected perfumes. That's not new or like anything that anyone else has encouraged me to do, but the dedication and like how much of a community, not only are you like our frag head like us, but you also just do everything like 100% and you make us all feel included. So I just am
Yes.
so appreciative for that.
And I also
Oh,
want
I
to
love
say
you
thank you,
guys.
Vika. We love you so much. And your work doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, you're
Yeah.
such a hardworking person. For those of you that don't know, Vika is not only a store owner, but she's a friend of ours. But at the same time, she's also very, very constant and very active on our, social media and community. And she's part of everything. And the nice thing about her is she is so on top of things. When she says she's doing something, you best believe she's on it.
She does it
And
100%. Yeah.
yeah, we just want to say thank you so much. We love you so much.
I
Yes.
love you both.
100.
So privileged to have you. And Maggie, can't wait for you to move to Raleigh.
I know.
Yeah.
You never
I'm just
know.
I'm waiting for Brees to send a request. I saw him join. So
He's
that's
on because I saw him too.
yeah. So Fabrice, you can just go ahead and request. Let me see if I see your comment back here and if I can request you myself so that we can get you on.
When we
Now that,
started the sessions, I didn't know that would escalate. The session degree, we're doing them every week. I love it.
right?
I really do.
Let me see. I'm telling you.
Do you
Oh,
see
there
him?
we go. Yes. Okay, we got it. All right. He should be coming on any second. So this will be super fun. Guys, I'm going to try to go ahead and make sure that we get through some of thanks, Fabrice. I got it. You should be coming through. I accepted it there. So we're going to be talking all things Sense of Wood. You guys sent some questions to me and Maggie. Anything that we don't get to cover, please DM us, because if you did send a question, we have the answer. But we want to also be respectful of your guys' evening, and also of Fabrice for
Hey,
coming on
Sarah.
and um, joining us with this. So that's
Hey
awesome.
guys.
Let me see.
So
Hey
many people.
Richard.
So
I know.
exciting.
It's hard
It's
to
so
keep track of everybody
cool.
just coming in. It's like,
I
wait, slow
know.
down. Hey Rich.
So
So
Fabrice, I
cool.
did accept your request. I don't know why, unless it's still connecting, but go ahead and send me another one if it's not for some reason allowing you, because
Hi, bro.
let me go ahead. I'm going to invite
I
you.
love how you communicate, Maggie. You told me.
He knows who it is.
It's so cool.
Okay, I sent him a request as well. So it's funny, Clinique is on. I think she mentioned today that she wasn't super familiar with the house. So I'm super excited for her to come on so that she can learn a little bit more, because I really think
Hi,
that
Nisha.
these are going to be fragrances she likes.
You guys have quite a collection there. I know you
I know.
do.
You see my display over here? I
Hmm.
tried to like set it
So
up like
pretty.
I know. Can you
Maggie.
see mine?
Yes,
Oh,
Maggie's always like
yeah.
has it so nicely displayed, and I'm like
Very
slacking
nice.
over here.
I'm like Vanna White, you know,
And
trying to
you
show.
have big bottles too, I see. That's
I
good.
have one. I have a candle, and
Yes.
then I have the test the 10 mLs.
Oh, so cool. I haven't received my box yet.
You're waiting,
Like,
Vika?
yeah, it's like I want it, I got it. Can I have it from you?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet, Fragbook.
It's saying
Aw.
to me, it's saying Sense of Wood is
Oh,
unable to join. Fabrice, I'm getting your request. I'm not sure. I keep selecting it and I'm sending the request.
Sometimes what helped me in the past is just getting, oh, he's
Here
in.
we go.
Ah, we got it.
Hi.
Okay. I
Hi,
I
guys.
did the same thing like
hey,
10 times.
Fabrice.
Hello, everyone.
So I don't know why I hit the same button 10 times and the 10th time was the the one that
I was-
finally got you on.
I was doing the same. Maybe that's because we're insisting too much. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're good. We're good.
We got it.
You're
We
a
got it.
master at keeping the energy on. Was really nice.
Oh,
You know?
me?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta, the show's gotta go on. I couldn't even connect to my Wi-Fi, but hey, you know what? A little sweat and a little booziness helps you get that liquid courage going.
Very good.
Exactly.
We are so honored that you agreed to not only come on this live, but we all three have been huge fans of the house and have been watching for quite some time.
Thank you.
And we just wanted other people to make sure that they knew. I think same with Maggie, same with Victoria, myself. We've talked to a lot of people in DM and through comments that have heard of the house, love the house, and then some that are like, this is new to me. So I want to make sure the people that it's new to know about it, because anyone who doesn't know about it needs to know about it.
That's very sweet.
Exactly.
We're kind of new to the world. We are 9 months old, so it's perfectly understandable that a lot of people have never heard of us. We're a baby brand. So.
Well, you're just kind of coming out of in the in vitro stage, but it's a huge testament to like being 9 months and already be a Fragrance Foundation winner. So I mean, kudos to you guys for that, for sure. There's many more masterpieces for sure.
Thank you. There was a big step and a big honor for us. Already the nomination was. I was super proud of the nomination, and I was like, okay, well, whatever comes next.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, the nomination is what I want, And then we won. It was really quite memorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent a message to Alberto Morillas, who did the Gucci fragrance that we were competing against.
Yeah.
And he's an old friend of mine. We worked many times together in the past, and I sent him a message to congratulate him before that, so I would be like, okay, whoever wins, and then he sent a message back saying, well, congratulations to you now. And I was like, wow, I can't believe Alberto is saying that. That was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you definitely had some like heavy contenders in that, because there was another one that I absolutely loved from Galavant that was nominated as well.
Yeah.
So kudos for sure.
Who also was very kind and congratulatory. We when I started Sense of Good, I created a little group a little DM group and Victoria knows because she's the only retailer in the group.
I know, right?
It was 25 brands and one perfumery. And
I was like, I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed. What am I doing here?
You're fortunate.
Praise be to God.
I don't even remember who said, do you think Victoria should be with us? And I was like, I don't know Victoria. I'm sure she's wonderful, of course.
I just loved it.
And so it started. And so we had this group. It's very nice. It's very cool. We're just sometimes communicating with one another. And Primera KV from Kuwait is part of it. I see that they just joined.
Yeah, Bader's wonderful.
And Gallivant is part of that. So we were the two of us were like congratulating each other as being nominees.
Yeah. Richard's also very nice man as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get right into things, in interest of being respectful of your time and everybody who's joining us. But, we all kind of are looking and, you talk about a lot of that forests kind of make us fall in love with nature and the universe and that exploration of the senses. What kind of made you pivot? Because in looking at stuff, I think you did a previous fragrance house that focused on florals.
That's true.
What was the inspiration and why you decided to have the pivot towards Scent of Wood?
Well, what you're saying is correct, and it worked really well in terms of launching the brand and retailers and consumers understanding the concept of it. Mm-hmm. And I sold that brand and I took a little vacation, and I was thinking, what's my next brand going to be? Mm-hmm. And I thought it was interesting to have a brand that has a very simple olfaction based concept. Just saying, we do woody notes, we do fresh notes, we do floral notes. It's an immediate understanding of the brand, right? And so I had done florals. I feel that Atelier Cologne is doing fresh very well. And so, you know, in terms of focus, at least in the beginning, they've been expanding. Now they're such a huge brand, but that was their idea in the beginning. We will stand for fresh notes, right? And and every other brand that you can think of is dabbling into everything. And so that left two major quadrants in the Michael Edwards fragrance wheel, if you will, that were available. And so I wrote a concept for woods, and I wrote a concept for what was called back then Orientals, and is now called Amber Nose, right? And I wrote a concept for each, and then I decided to go with wood. I don't want to touch my phone because last time I went to prepare tea for myself, I lost the connection. But if I took my phone with me and I went out outside, you would see woods everywhere. I live in Park City, Utah, and we're up in the upper desert forests of Utah, right?
Beautiful.
And, yeah, it's beautiful. And so I thought I want that brand to be direct to consumer, so it's going to be based here, or mostly direct to consumer, as Victoria was spoke to soon. And I thought, okay, so if I'm going to create this brand here, I might as well go with a woody idea. And I've always, you know, I spent my childhood building tree houses, and I love working in the forest, and I have this connection with trees, and so it was very obvious. It was a natural step for me. And so I wrote that concept based on that, and then I presented it to perfumers, and they loved it, and that's how the brand started, really. I mean, that's 3 years ago. It was a long gestation. It was a long development in my brand, in my mind, before the brand came out. But yeah, that's how it came about.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really awesome. You know, when I think of, you know, trees and forests, you guys do a really great job. Oftentimes I equate it with like dense, dark, and mysterious. You guys have a wide range of different fragrances, but you definitely hit home with some of the dark and mysterious there, yes. And especially with plum and cognac. So absolutely. I think the inspiration was definitely translated so beautifully into all the fragrances that you guys do have.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you're saying that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say it's really hard to find a good woody scent. I'll be honest, being as a retailer, a lot of people come in and they're like, we want something woody. But there's not really the depths when it comes to a woody scent. It can be on top note, like a little spice up at the beginning, but like the depths of woody scent, that's really hard. I've been hunting a lot for something like this for the store.
Yes, I think you're right. I think, you know, I've been in fragrance my entire career. I've been working in that field for 30 years. In those 30 years, I can think of only two brands who did a real, true exploration of woody notes from the get-go. And recently, there have been more niche brands that launched. But to me, Serge Lutens is one. They really explored wood and very, very well. And it's one of my favorite brands, and they have some of my favorite fragrances as well. And then Comme des Garçons. Comme des Garçons has done a great exploration of woody notes. But outside of that, it's been kind of like the least explored of the four quadrants. And for that reason too, I thought it was interesting because people love woody notes, and not only men. Yeah. When I wrote my business plan, if you will, to go and look for investors, my assumption was that it was going to be 60%, 65% men and 35% women. My customer base eventually, right? On the floral brand, it was 80-20. It was 80% women and 20% men. It's kind of hard to convince a man to wear a beautiful rose. If that man doesn't have an affinity for perfume.
I don't know why though. It's so good.
They're so beautiful.
It's amazing.
I agree. It's silly. It's understandable, but it's too bad because it's such an unexpected, beautiful combination. But my expectation was, okay, there's going to be a little bit more women who want to wear woody notes, but not that much. It's going to be like 65-35. Turns out it's 55 women, 45 men.
Wow.
Today, my customer base.
Right. And I'm one of them.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And that was a wonderful surprise for me because, well, one from a purely business perspective, women tend to buy more and talk more about fragrances, so it's good to have them in as as part of the customer base. But two, it's this idea that it's almost balanced is really pleasant. Is really pleasing when you do gender neutral fragrances.
Yeah,
when you don't
right.
characterize them as being feminine or masculine from the get go. It's nice that you feel like everyone likes them or everyone can like them, and
Right.
so that was a really really good surprise.
Now, I have a question for you, Fabrice, and this is kind of taking out a little bit of the fragrances. I want to know, some of us would like to know, what do you do like on your normal day? Like, what does a normal work day look like for you? I know you're always busy with your apron, which me and Jonathan were talking about the apron, and we were saying we
Yes.
want one.
It's so official.
So I assume I wake up early. I try to take care of all my emails and all the business stuff as fast as I can. Then I spend quite a bit of time on Instagram, trying to answer comments and trying to connect with our subscribers, replying to DMs, which I'm sure the three of you are perfectly understanding that DMs take a lot of time if you want to do it well. I mean, you know that as well as I do. We all get a lot of them, and it's a beautiful thing that we do, because it means that we do have connections that actually exist. The four of us have been talking DMOS like over the past few weeks and months because of Victoria. And so I do that, and then I go to the workshop. I have hired a wonderful team at my workshop, and it's really we really work well together. So I can trust them to do all the groundwork, because the consumer messages arrive from Facebook, they arrive from Instagram, they arrive from email, they arrive from text, and they arrive by phone. And so there's a whole bunch of different ways of communicating to our subscribers and consumers. And so I do Instagram because that's our network of choice. And during that time, they do part of the logistical stuff. And then I arrive at the workshop, we have a quick meeting, and then we have a lot of packages to prepare. We have a lot of fragrances to fill. We have a lot of candles to take care of. So we do a lot of that. I try to carve a couple of hours in my day if I can for the creative long-term stuff, silly stuff like the shelves, or long-term important stuff like the next collection. And that's pretty much, and then it's 8 p.m. already,
That's awesome.
It's like, I think it's been 14 hours, and I need to eat something.
I think Maggie brought up a good point too, because a lot of times brands, when you're speaking or you do try to have a interaction with them via direct message, you're not always speaking to the creative director themselves. Oftentimes that's outsourced. So I think that it's a huge testament, although yes, DMs can be really challenging to get back to everyone, and they don't always populate into primary or general. People are actually speaking directly to you. So, I mean, that's invaluable in itself.
I think it's very important. I think it's, I left, that's the reason why I left my phone number. I have my phone number on the, my cell phone number on the Instagram page, on Facebook. And I get like maybe 3-4 customers or subscribers calling me every day. Not always for things that they are happy about, by the way. Yesterday, I had a gentleman from Texas calling me, and he really wanted his set, and he had not received it, and he couldn't get the tracking number, and that wasn't cool because he was about to leave, and we need to do something. And I spoke to him today, and it's all solved. And but I have a lot of that. I just like being when you rely heavily on UPS and FedEx and most of this, and so many things can go wrong that are not in your hands. So
exactly.
I think if you subscribe, if it's one time and you're being patient, fine. But if you subscribe to a brand and you're going to receive something every month from them, and something goes wrong, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and then before you know it, you don't like the brand anymore. So I think it's important that I have. It takes time, but it's worthy time. Those 2 hours in the morning and then the phone calls during the day. It's definitely worth my effort, because I can tell that it makes people feel closer to the brand. And when you start, you want people to feel close to the brand and understand. We've had the past 2 months have been a nightmare. We're importing the glass that we use for this part here. This has been the source of all my nightmares over the past 2 months. This little piece of glass here.
I saw your live yesterday where you kind of talked about that.
Oh my goodness! I ordered. I mean, not to bore everyone with logistical concern, but I ordered 14,000 of those pieces, right? And they were in a container. There was a huge box in a container, and that container was on a ship, and that ship was in the port of Los Angeles, out on the ocean. And they were not docking, and they were not unloading the ship, and I couldn't get it. And then the time was passing, and I was one week late, 2 weeks late, 3 weeks later. And I sent an email to every single subscriber and to apologize and tell them, instead of the monthly box, would you like a candle? Would you like? We're happy to extend a discount to apologize on everything else in the brand, and blah blah. And oh my goodness, the answer was, we got so much love, so much kindness in return. People were so kind and so patient, and Friday night we got the glass, and we've been working day and night ever since. We've been like shipping, posting. Like, I mean, everybody's exhausted, but we're almost there. By Tuesday next week, we'll be back on track. I mean, until the next issue with separation. Right. But at least we're almost there, and we didn't lose one single subscriber. I mean, it's
nice. That's amazing.
Oh, I couldn't be more touched. I was so. Some of the messages, we were crying. I mean, seriously, people can be so nice,
Yeah.
So I think when you put a lot of thought into service recovery, things happen to all of us. Mistakes, we're human. Yeah. We can't control sometimes things that go on, even in the supply chain process. Yeah. But when we all take accountability to try to make things right, that goes way further than the mistake. And a lot of places don't always do that. So that's wonderful.
And I want to point that out, since Fabrice is saying that, because his customer service is beyond superb. I have to say hats off to that, because he had the issue. Yes, he got it resolved yesterday. And I'm one of the people that subscribed, that I have a subscription box with him. And I got an email like this. I was like, it was like 1 minute he says he fixed it on a live, and then the next thing you know, I get my email. I was like, wow, that was quick. So I have to say that's amazing. That's excellent customer service. I mean, and he's so like he'll write your name on the email. Like I would just send a regular email to everybody. Like I'm on it, people.
Blind copy everybody, right?
Exactly. Just
blanketed email.
Yep.
Yeah. So personal.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it, Maggie. I'm glad. Yeah.
I do.
So, Victoria, did you have anything? I didn't want to jump in on anyone.
I have a question, because I know Sense of Wood is all about this aging in barrels.
Yes.
And I wanted for you to kind of talk about it, because that's a point of difference, a big point of difference when it comes to your fragrances. And that's kind of something innovative that not many people know about.
I think that's true. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, I posted a video that was a conversation between me and Carlos Benaim on originally the conversation. It was supposed to be a 3-minute video. It turned out to be a 12-minute video, because we were supposed to talk about Orange and Chestnut, his fragrance. And then we started digressing on to naturals versus synthetic notes. And then we spoke about a barrel aging at the end. And so it's a very interesting video. It's one of my favorite videos that we've done. I think it's a true. I mean, I don't want to flatter myself at saying it's an innovation, but it's kind of an innovation. It is. And it's hard to innovate in fragrance. It's like you can innovate in skincare, you can innovate in hair care, you can innovate in makeup. It's kind of hard to innovate in fragrance, and that wasn't the point. That wasn't the objective. The objective was not innovation, but the result is innovation. The idea was that if we really want to explore the full spectrum of woody notes, why don't we age our fragrances in wooden barrels, right? Which we started doing, and we tried, and it was very complex, because the fragrance it's such a complex creation. But then when we started reducing that to just aging the alcohol and then diluting the oils into the aged alcohol, it changed everything. And all of a sudden it became this extra element in the creation of the scent. It became like the last. I like to call it the last ingredient in the palette of the perfumers, And so for them, you know, we create a scent, we go back and forth, we develop our concept, our idea, they come up with something beautiful. And then the scent is almost done. And then we start diluting those oils into all the different barrel aged alcohols. And they're
So
all
amazing.
different.
Yeah.
And they're all different. And those alcohols, if you smell them by themselves, you will see the difference between the organic alcohol aged in French oak and the one that has been aged in a vintage cognac barrel, for instance. And so they choose one. Well, we dilute them. We dilute the oils in all the alcohols, and then they choose the one that magnifies their creation the most. And it's pure olfactive delight. The entire thing it's so fun. It's so exciting, and it actually makes the fragrances even better. I mean, in their words, you know.
Yeah.
And so we did the first collection, and so the first subscription we did with 5 different barrels, which were French oak, American oak, cognac, bourbon, and chestnut and acacia, and hence the names of fragrances. You know, orange and chestnut, cedar and acacia. It's because it's mostly orange tree in the chestnut barrel, mostly a cedar fragrance in acacia barrel, and so on. And then for the next collection, so the next subscription starts in September next month. For the next collection, we've added 4 more barrels to this. So Armagnac, Calvados,
nice.
A bourbon barrel that has been used to age maple syrup.
Oh,
so it was first. It's actually American oak. It was used for 10 years to age bourbon, and then was shipped to Canada, and there was used to age maple syrup. And then I found it, and I got it, and I shipped it to IFF in New Jersey, and we've been using that for a scent, and it's a beauty.
That's amazing.
And then so that's, you know, and we're gonna keep expanding. So I have my little big room actually in Hazlitt in the facility of IFF with all the barrels, and that's what we do.
That's incredible.
But that was a great point, though, because I feel like everything, whether it be plum or sandalwood or cedar, all the barrels that you incorporate just kind of amplify what you're going for as far as the scent. And it just, the marrying of the two is, like Victoria and Maggie said, is something that was definitely missing within the niche market. So it's definitely filled a void with that. And I just think the depth, like Victoria mentioned, it's never ending. It just continues to go and get better and better on your skin the more you wear it.
Yes. Right. Well, I think there's a lot to be said for the immense artistry of the perfumers that I work with, because they had to kind of learn that new idea, you know, that new process, and they were very excited, super supportive of it from the get-go. But it required extra time, extra learning, and extra energy from them, because that was something completely new that they had never done before. But God, they really embraced it, and now we're just having so much fun with it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now I have a question. Not a question, but I did some investigation, or like researching, because both Jonathan and I are like these nerds, you know, and whenever we do a live, we literally, it's like going back to college. Like, I'm on the computer, I'm researching, I'm reading books, and I found out that it takes, and I didn't know this, and I live in the woods. I don't know if you guys can see that, just like you, Fabrice. I live in the mountains in Pocono Lakes, and all we see are trees and all kind of trees, and I like to smell the trees. So I started researching how long it takes for a tree to grow to its full state, and it actually takes 37 years. And I said to myself, wow, that's a long time. So my question to you is, it takes 37 years for a tree to take its full state. Now, how long does it take for a fragrance to go from the beginning of the thought of what you want to do all the way until it's on the shelf and like ready to be shipped?
Well, so the 37 years depends on the species, obviously, and the time it takes to do a fragrance depends on the brand.
Okay.
When I started my career, I started doing, the first thing I did was I was hired by L'Oréal. I was doing fragrance development for Lancôme, which obviously you know that. and I worked on Poem back then. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that scent. And so when a brand like Lancôme develops a fragrance, it's from the very first conversation or brief that we do to the moment it hits the shelves, it's between 3 and 4 years, right? Between 2.5 and 4 years. The reason being so much testing, so much consumer testing, you know, in every single continent, in every single major country, so much back and forth, so much hierarchy in the company, and so many people who need to approve or not approve what has been approved before. Thank you for saying love poem. That's touching. And everything is a pitch. Everything is a competition. So you pitch perfumers against one another. You pitch designers against one another. You pitch advertising agencies against one another. And so that as a brand developer, as a perfume developer inside of a brand, that leads you to have to look at every single creative output and rebrief them and do that until you finally choose one, right? Mm-hmm. And then you literally torture the perfumers. I mean, you put them through hell, and they're willing to go through hell because everybody wants to have the next Lancôme fragrance. But I mean, it is, you know, we launched the. I always tell the story. We launched the 374D version of the fragrance. 374D. That was the last, you know, Jacques Cavalier, who is now the perfumer of Louis Vuitton, who was the perfumer behind Poem, he was exhausted at the end. It was years. Sure. You know?
Right.
So that's one example, right? That's when on a niche brand like mine, and also a niche brand like mine that launches collections. So we're not working on a single scent. We're not focusing on a single scent like Poem, but we want to express the olfactive point of view of the brand through a collection of scents. And even more so, scents of wood, because I'm launching a new scent every month. The process is much shorter for two reasons. One, there is no consumer testing, zero. It's all gut driven, right? There's only one person who is going to approve or not approve, and it's me. There is no hierarchy. There is no consumer testing. There's just no. So it's entirely the work between me and the perfumer. And then two, and going back to number one, it's super important, I think, because I personally believe that eventually too many opinions and too much attention to the opinion of customers dilutes the actual creative impulse. It dilutes the creative energy behind anything. Sure. And perfumes probably more so than anything else, right? So, and then two, there's not the time and the money to do it. You know. Yeah. So you need to be much more reactive. So, in the case of Scents of Wood, I briefed the perfumers in December 2000. I worked on the brand much longer than that, but I briefed the perfumers in December 2019, and we launched in September 2020. So 9 months, you see, 9 months. And then I briefed them on the second collection in a little bit. It was a little longer. I briefed them in November, and we're going to launch in September. So 10 months. But I mean, fast like that.
Yeah. Well, kind of talking too a little about your process there and the advertising and the marketing and everything that goes into it. And I've seen a couple of videos where you've talked a little bit about this, but I'm sure from a marketing standpoint, going into opening a fragrance house and saying, I want to have 3 names for the brand is always could be a challenging, but in actually delving a little bit further and understanding the process of how you come about from, you know, it being inspired from the forest or trees to it then coming to the skin, like the alpha and the omega that you've talked about. Yeah. There are 3 very distinct names that the house has. And I almost equate it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's like a 3-step process. So the first one being like that Shinrin Yoku, so that meditation. The second process kind of being the French name. So the first one being the Japanese name, Shinrin Yoku. The second being the French name, La Âme de Bois,
Yeah.
and that being more about the memory, the feeling, and extracting that meditation.
Yeah.
And then the final being Sense of Wood, which is the English translation of it. And that somewhat speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
was that kind of tied into the process of how you wanted to have three names and then
So,
making it?
So I'm going to say very honestly, it is what you just said is a post rationalization. I wrote that in the book that is part of the collector's box, the first collector's book. There's this beautiful book that is a Japanese album that unfolds, and it's like a 6-foot long illustration. That's the story that I tell, right? It starts from the Shinran Yoku and it goes through L'Âme du Bois and it culminates in Sense of Wood. But that's not really the way it was created.
Okay.
It came about, the way it was created was one day, I don't know why, I just woke up with this idea of giving more than one name to the brand. And I thought that was cool because, it's like every brand that you work on, Chanel is Chanel is Chanel is Chanel, no matter where you go, right? And it has to be, and it's super tight, and that's what marketing says to do, and that's the gospel of brand building, right? And I was like, well, maybe it would be interesting if, and it's not only three; those three are the three first ones. There are going to be more names.
Nice.
My idea was that every time we go and we conquer a market, we should have a name that pertains to this market. So, for instance, in Germany, when I go to Germany, I would call the brand Waldgeisten, which means the fairies of the wood, right? It means, and I will drop one of the name from the logo and I'll put the German name instead. When I go to Dubai, I'll come up with a nice, beautiful Arabic name, and I have Japanese, Arabic, and French.
That's
when I go to, and so on, right? And eventually the brand will end up having so many names, everybody will call it from the name. I mean, if the brand survives the first few years, it's going to end up having
it will.
Hopefully. Knock on wood, no pun intended.
Yeah.
It will have so many different names and everybody will call it the name of their own market. And it's fine. I think it's interesting. I think there's a fluidity there. There's an openness that is very contrary to everything that I've learned my entire life, but very liberating. And I just like it. So,
well,
yeah.
I think now what you've created a problem for me now, because my wife is actually born and raised in Germany. So now not only all the scents that I have that say Sense of Wood, we're going to have them also in the German name, because she just wrote I love Weidegeister. Waldgeister. Okay. Yeah. So she's fluent, and so I'm sure she'll be telling all
Is
of
that
our
your wife?
family.
Is that your wife writing this?
Yes,
Lena.
Lena. Yeah, that's my wife.
Okay,
yes.
So right there, consumer testing. Waldgeister is approved. Done.
Yeah, there you go.
It's
check.
That's
fantastic.
It's a one person, one impulse consumer testing. That's as far as I'm willing to go. It's done. I love it.
Nice.
And Victoria, I welcome any suggestion for the Russian name when
I will think about it.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah,
it would be nice to have it in Cyrillic too. Listen, I'm obviously this conversation is I don't know if it will go that far. I don't know how many countries, how many names there will be. But that's the intention. The intention is to have this constant adaptation of. It's a global brand. It will be a global brand someday, but it will have this local thing. And it's the same thing for the fragrances. If I ever launch in Germany, I'm not going to launch with the same set of scents that I launched in the US because the tastes and the expectations and the olfactive sensibilities are a little bit different. So, I'm building a library of scents for the perfumers. Thank you, all of you, by the way, for being so patient and so available for me. I'm building a library of scents to the tune of, the first year was 17, the second year is going to be 15, the third year is going to be something like that again. I will get to as many scents as Bond number 9 before you know it, and I will have this library, and I will be able to, when we tackle a new market, I will be able to to refine the way we go to market, where we put in the collector's boxes, where we put in the monthly boxes. You know, it's going to be nice. And so between that and the name, I think we'll have like I said, like a fluid offering, a fluid brand. I just want the brand to be fluid.
It's so personal when I think you attack it in that manner. So that kind of there will be availability in other countries soon, maybe.
I don't know.
Besides,
I mean, soon. You know what? It is a question of it's a question of money, obviously, and it's a question of availability of time, because it takes a lot of time to expand internationally. I think the first thing that we're going to do is anchor the brand in France. Well, I mean, for obvious reasons, right? And from there see and test whether there is an appetite for it in Europe, which I believe there is based on the first messages that we get on Instagram, the type of comments that we're getting right now in this live chat, and what I see on Instagram. I'm getting a lot of requests for, you know, when are you going to ship to Europe or to Asia, which obviously we can't from the US because we're not allowed. But once we are anchored in France, then we'll be able to just start, you know, expanding. That being said, I really am very attached to the duality of the brand between subscribers and customers, right? It's something that is very important to me. I really like what we're doing with the subscription. I really like this idea of taking people on journeys like that. And so whatever the market is, I really want to have the two options. You can come to the brand by buying a 75 ml, or you can explore the brand by subscribing. Or you can do both. Right. Or you can do that if you don't like the brand. But you know what I mean? I really want to have both of those things. So
yeah, and Brenda kind of just said that in a comment too, that I think all of us have gotten questions where, when can I get it? So there's definitely a desire to have that in other places for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just logistically it's complex. So to answer your question, when I think next year we're going to stay here. Maybe maybe by the end of next year or the beginning of the year after, you know, maybe end 22, early 23, we'll start maybe seeding our efforts somewhere else. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Maggie or Vika? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Since we were on the topic of candles, I have to say the candles are amazing. They actually, I lit mine, and it actually smells like cedar and acacia, because I have the fragrance as well, and it smells just like it. So on this note, I wish you would come out with other products. And is there any other projects in the future for like a hair mist or hand lotions or like a body cream, body butter or something?
So the second subscription, every single box between the scent and the candle, there will be a slit here, and the slit will be an envelope, and in that envelope there will be incense.
Nice.
And that incense is going to be paper incense. I've developed this with the oldest incense manufacturer, or one of the oldest incense manufacturers in Japan, and it's leaves, tree leaves, made of paper with a little piece of felt, and you burn them like this, and they burn in 6-7 minutes, and it transforms the atmosphere of a room. It's extraordinary.
Do you need something special to put them in, or is it just like on a dish? Like how does that work?
You can put them in a cup or in a dish, or you know, and then you put that little piece of felt that itself looks like a mini leaf, and you put the leaf, you burn it, you blow on it, and then the smoke fills the room, and
that's beautiful.
And the smell fills the room. It's really cool. It's a completely different way of using incense, and so the collector's box of next subscription will have candles. We'll have vials. We'll have a little surprise like the book, but different. And we'll have incenses. So my idea would be that every year we introduce a new product category like this through our subscription. And so actually, let's talk about this. It's interesting. I started with fragrance and candles, right? Next year we're doing fragrance, candles, and incense. What should I do for
Hand
collection number
lotion.
3.
I would love a hand lotion, especially for us
Lotion,
girls.
yeah.
I feel like we're always putting lotion on our hands. And it's, we put it in our purse and we want it to smell because usually when you're moving your hands, that's also giving you like an aroma of the fragrance. So I think anything as far as like a hand lotion, a hair mist, we love hair mist. We love our hair to smell like our scent. And we also love like the body lotions, something like that.
Or even oil,
or
like
even
the
an
oil
oil.
to amplify it too.
Definitely.
Or diffusers.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a great
Okay.
idea. That's a great idea.
So it has to be something that that can have a small format, so I can send it to subscribers every month, right?
Yeah, so like a hand lotion would be perfect.
Definitely. I really like the idea of the hand lotion. I'm going to look into this. I was thinking of something that would be for the bath, but I didn't quite know which form that would take. There's a,
bath
except that I don't know that they're gonna. I don't know that it skews. It sounds like it's something like my daughters was using a lot my daughters were using it when they were 14. See, I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't know.
I like bath bombs.
But a nice bath oil, maybe. I don't know. Listen, I really like the idea of the hand
bath
lotion.
oil.
I'll think about it. To me, there's something. There's a natural connection. I don't know why, but there's an obvious connection between candles and books, right? You light a candle, you read a book. But there's also an obvious connection between candles and bath, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking. But okay, thank you for that. I think that the hand lotion is a great idea.
Fabrice, a couple people said that you could do leaf shaped plates because you like ceramic.
Yes.
Some people said hair mist, lotions layered with the perfume or oils that would amplify it. Someone also said a car scent.
Yeah. All those are very good idea. And wood chips like Bakur, very good idea as well.
That's great too.
Yeah. All right. So just to give you a little glimpse of what happens then, I have a year to make that happen, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. So the way I see that year split is there's going to be at the end, there's going to be 3 months of production before that month and shipping and all this, right? And that includes a few weeks of testing. Before that, I need to do the design. Before that, I need, simultaneously with it, no, before that, I need to choose the partner, and before choosing the partner, I need to decide what type of product it is, right? So the year is actually quite short, right? So I have until the end of October to decide. So it's not,
wow.
And then choose the partner, and then do the design, and then do the testing, and then go into production, and boom, already it's September 23. It's
Fabrice, a couple of people were asking to, some that aren't as familiar, what would be your recommendation to, I know that you have quite a bit of, I think, is it 14 at this point, fragrances in the house?
So we've designed 17 plus 15, but we've launched 12 to date.
12, okay. So for those that haven't tried it, what would be, could we talk maybe a little bit about like the 3 that resonate most with your customers or the 3 that resonate most with you so people know where to start?
Sure. And I want to say I will gladly take the ceramic plates that you would make for me.
Yes, Brenda.
Well, I mean, it's obviously I love them both. I'm very proud of all of them. I've had I'm wearing cedar and acacia.
I love cedar and acacia.
Yeah.
I think it's such a wonderful new take on freshness, It's really, it's a beautiful woody fresh note,
Yes.
And that chord, that association between cedar and ginger is unique, and I really love it. On the opposite end of spectrum, in terms of how assertive it is, I really love Oak and Oak, because I love that oak note, and I love the story, and I love the fact that that the perfumers that they developed that oak note and extracted that oak molecule from charring wooden barrels And
Wow.
those wooden barrels are the same ones, the exact same type of barrels from the same barrel manufacturer in France, in Cognac in France, are the same that we used in aging the alcohol. So that whole thing is so consistent and so, you know, and it smells so chic and so delicious. I really love it. I really have a fondness, and I always have, for oud in acacia. I think it's a great oud. It's a creative, floral, light-hearted oud, but it's an oud nevertheless, and I really think it's beautiful. But I really love our other ouds. So because to date we've launched 3, and they are so different from one another, right? One is a floral oud, one is almost like a Middle Eastern oud, and then we have the creative ambery coffee note in the oud in bourbon, which is also a beauty.
So beautiful. That's my wife's favorite, actually.
Is it? Yeah, it's a great scent. I really like mineral cedar.
My favorite.
That we just launched.
So good. It's so good.
My favorite.
It's a very interesting note. The cedar in flower, which we're about to launch
Nice.
in the next few days, is really nice as well. Anyway, I'm not really answering the question, am I? I'm going through my fragrances.
No, this is great. This is great.
But, you know, and obviously plum in cognac is a beauty.
Plum and cognac is amazing.
Obviously, it's such a wonderful scent. And
it's a very sensual scent.
Very sensual.
Very deep, very sensual. It's a sexy, sexy scent.
It is. It's beautiful.
Pascal
it's
is
true
really good
to its
Pascal
name.
is very good at sexy sensual. Very good. I mean, he did oud in bourbon as well, which is a super sensual scent. Cedar and acacia in a completely different way is extremely sensual as well. He's very good at that, Pascal. He's very good at everything.
People are loving oud in bourbon. That's everybody's talking about.
Yeah, and we don't have it yet in. We haven't received, you know, we have a medallion on every single scent, we haven't received the medallions for oud in bourbon, so we don't have it in 75 ml on the website yet, and we're getting all those requests, so we should have them by the end of the month. So hopefully people are going to be able to order that. It's a great scent. Yeah.
But for oud and acacia, I have. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say that the oud and acacia, it's perfect for somebody that is getting into oud and, you know, is kind of afraid of trying an oud. This fragrance is beautiful. I think it's so mass appealing for everybody. When I smelled it, I was just like, wow, this is gorgeous. It's a different take on oud. It's not dirty. It's not barnyard. It's just a gorgeous wearable oud. And this fragrance you can even wear to the office because it wouldn't be offensive in any way. But I recommend this one for people that are trying oud. Guys, this is a great one.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Vika, did you want to say something too?
I want to say that I tried plum and cognac, and I never wear anything outside of my store just because when somebody stops me, I want to be able to sell it to them.
That's true. I know that's true of you.
Yeah, and plum and cognac was the only one that I did.
Oh my God.
Was the only one exception. And then it wouldn't leave my mind for such a long time. So eventually I had to reach out to Fabrice and talk some business.
Yes.
Yes.
Fabrice, a couple of people are asking the colors. Are they naturally occurring or is there an additive to it?
So fragrances, the coloration of the fragrance is, I mean, I don't know of any case where it's the scent that the way it comes out of the creation, just mixing the oils. Because the coloration of the scent is a super important stage of the creation of the scent. One, you choose a color because you want that color to be the expression of when you see a color in the scent, it participates to your olfaction. You know, it doesn't when you have an opaque bottle, but it does when you have the 10 ml transparent or any bottle like Serge Lutens or whatever, right? So it's a very important part of the way you feel about a creation, an olfactive creation. It's also important to stabilize a scent. You know, there's a whole stability, there's a whole toxicology part, and there's a whole stability part where you want your scent to stay exactly the way it is, and you don't want it to evolve in 3 months after the person buys the scent. And part of that is fixing the color, and part of fixing the color is deciding on the color. So in answer to that question, all those colors are different from the original colors of the oils, and all are intentional. All are chosen.
Yes, it seems quite intentional, to be honest. They all are very, not only are you going through that with your olfactory experience, but they're also very photorealistic, I find, of what you're smelling, especially with plum and cognac, the oud and bourbon, leather, the leather and bourbon as well. They're all very photorealistic. I did want to ask, though, this was like something that I wanted to just hear directly from you, because I have my own thoughts and I can share that after. But you guys, you have your 10 ml bottles, which are very, clean, minimalistic wood caps on there. Then if you do purchase in your 75 ml, here, they're quite different. And they, to me, look a very artistic interpretation of an anatomical heart. I've read different things, but what was your inspiration behind creating this? I mean, I know I have my thoughts as to why you did, but
I'm going to put. I shot last year in the fall. Marc-Ange, who is the wonderful designer with whom I designed the bottle, came to Park City. He's a friend of mine. He came to Park City to spend some time here, and we used that opportunity to go in the forest and to shoot videos, and we did an entire video on the creation of the logo and the creation of the bottle. We spent so many hours discussing this design, and our original intention was to have the same bottle for all the scents and a different cap for all of them. And the cap was going to be the branches of the tree that the perfume was always about. Okay, so that's the idea. Turns out, as always, you have ideas and then reality kicks in. When you do something like this, you need a mold for every single cap, and branches are extremely complex to design in the first place. And so what we decided then was to do an abstraction of a tree. And that's how we ended up with this cap. This cap is meant to be the abstraction of a tree, the abstraction of branches, right? And then I was just coming back from Japan, and I'm in love with Japan. I just love that country and that culture and everything. And I just was obsessed with doing Japanese ceramics, and I collect Japanese ceramics anyway. I just wanted to do that, and so I injected that into our conversation, and then he started doing different expression of Japanese ceramics with different shapes, and then we chose 3 shapes, and my idea is to launch the other shapes in the future, and that was the first one that we did, and so it was born. And then we looked at it and we were like, that kind of looks like a heart, doesn't it? But it was not the intention in the beginning. And then people started looking at the bottle and it's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. It kind of reminds me of C'est la vie by Christian Lacroix. And it's true. There's one perfume in the history of perfume that did their bottle to look like a heart, but that was intentional on their part.
Yeah.
And that was Christian Lacroix, and it was in the 90s, and it was C'est la vie, and it was not a big success, I don't think, but the bottle was seared in people's mind. But they were really intentional. It was really like going to be
right.
It's not like that. It's a little bit rounder. It's not opaque. It has the ventricles are made of coral. It's very much a heart.
I have a whole aspect of like my interpretation of how it looks like a heart, but I've made it up in my own head. So my background is actually cardiovascular. So everything I tend to see, hearts, and I'm looking at anatomical hearts. So, the inspiration, like when I had looked at it, to me, it was like, it's the heart, it's the soul of the wood. And, to me, it's kind of almost like this branching being the pulmonary artery and this being the aortic. And usually with the pulmonary, it's taking on unoxygenated blood and bringing it through the lungs, like similar to the 3 phases that you have within the house. So, that first part being the pulmonary artery being like the Shinrin Yoku. Okay. And then once the blood is then oxygenated, it's then taken through and observed through the Le Âme du Bois and then brought to the actual bottle, where is the actual scent of wood. So that's like how in my mind, my crazy medical brain, that I'm like, this is so completely like 360 of how you're capturing the soul of the wood also in like a very artistic way of an anatomical heart to me. I know that's not intentional, but that's it resonated so much with me.
It might not be intentional, but I'm going to use that. You know, I'm going to quote you. It's nice to hear that. You know, my daughter says, well, it's because your brand sits at the heart of the forest, and therefore it makes total sense. To, you know, that's what she was doing. She was taking care of responding to a couple of people on Instagram the other day, and she said that. I mean, and then I was thinking about this. And, you know, I had this on my desk the entire time when I was working on the brand. So maybe that played a role too.
Subconsciously.
Subconsciously. I mean, to me, it just is like the pulmonary and the aortic artery, the aortic there. And it's like pumping this, you know, juice and this oxygenated blood to the extremities of the body and, represented. Even actually, I mean, I'm going way deep, but like even how you have it where the actual plaque here reminds me of like the left main and the left circumflex coronary arteries. Like I've gone on like this is so deep.
Keep going.
So this when I came back, I can tell you where it came from, because both Marc-Ange and I did a lot of martial arts in when we were younger, and this was the belt, because I came back from my trip in Japan. He was like, oh yeah, you want Japanese? I'm going to do Japanese for you. And he put a belt on the bottle.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love it. And
yeah.
Like, okay, well, and then we started brainstorming how to attach the medallion to it and all that.
Yeah. That's just how it is in my mind. I was like, I would love if that was the case. And like, I, saw the whole interpretation of it. But I mean, it is, I think a lot of people, like Clinique was saying too, she's in the medical field, that a lot of people, it resonates with them in that sense too. So it's beautiful in that sense, for sure.
And it's customizable, right? It can be changed.
Yeah. Also, I have only two on my desk right now. I have the charcoal and the ivory. We also have the chocolate color, and we're going to add more in the future. Here we go. So that's the three right there. And we're going to add, currently we have two caps, but I'm working on the third cap. And most importantly, and most excitingly, I'm supposed to receive by the end of the month. I was in Mexico to visit. The bottle is made in Mexico, and I went there to visit the glass factory, and we did trials of. It's obviously not ceramics, not clay, because clay would not resist to the fragrance, the alcohol being in it, like just like that. So it's glass on which we project painted material matter to make it look like ceramic. And we've tried new things by mixing colors and mixing different types of materials. And it's going to be very exciting. The evolution of the bottle in the future is one of the things that I'm the most excited about for the brand. We're going to have a whole bunch of different bottles, a whole bunch of different looks. As we grow, we're going to be exploring plenty of different things, and those will become collectors in due time. I really want to. I will explore the shapes, I'll explore the caps, and I'll explore the rendering. So it's going to evolve quite a bit. Yeah.
Nice, Maggie. What were you going to say?
It's funny that he mentioned that, because I actually wanted to talk and give him kind of an idea, because I know he has the whole woods and everything. And here in Pennsylvania, they do beautiful carvings of wood. So would you consider doing a special edition bottle made of beautiful wood, like any kind of wood, like a sandalwood or an oak wood, ebony wood? Would you consider that?
I would, of course, I would. I'm willing to try things like that. We would have to put glass around the scent and wood around the glass.
Yeah, because I think it will look gorgeous.
Oh, it would look gorgeous for sure. And we're working on something similar for our big candles, to have something beautiful to put around them.
Nice.
I'm also thinking of doing a candle specific subscription. Because I find that a lot of people buy big, beautiful candles. When you spend $70, I've heard that on my previous brand so many times, and I'm starting to hear it again. You spend $70 on a candle, and then you just use the cold throw because you want to see it go down, and just if you are subscribing to a candle service, maybe the relationship to the object would be different. I don't know. But yeah. Definitely, Maggie, we'll be exploring wood.
Beautiful.
One thing when we explore, we're going to explore wood as well is the boxes.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
It's
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot to
It's
do.
funny because I know candles. I love candles. And you know a good candle when you feel it like this. I don't know if you guys know
Mm-hmm.
that. And you feel the
Yeah,
consistency of it, right? As
yeah.
a matter of fact, just I don't know if people know this, but if you do that and you want to smell the actually activates the scent of the candle when you kind of warm it with your finger. A lot of times when you smell a candle, because it's wax, you don't smell the aroma. But if you put your fingers on it and go like that, it heats it up. And these
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
candles are amazing. And the reason I say that is because if you look at your fingers, you have the oil right on your
Yeah.
fingers. So
Mm-hmm.
that's when you
Yeah.
know so I have to say these are amazing quality candles. And they
Thank you.
just, they're beautiful scented. I mean, they're beautiful scented. They're great.
Yeah, we've been working throughout the summer. We've been working on our wax. We've been working on our wicks. We've been working on different levels of concentration. I think our candles are going to be even better in the future. And as someone is asking about wooden wicks, we've
Yes.
tried wooden wicks. We've tried two types of wooden wicks. We've tried the wooden wicks and the crackling wooden wicks.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be using that occasionally as well. Like I
Yes.
would like, for instance, and we'll see if I can make it work, but I would like our box, this December box, to have a crackling
Yes.
wooden wick
I
because it's
love
cool.
that. It's
It's
so
the holidays.
cool.
And,
The
Yeah.
sounds. Yeah, it's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
let me show the other one, Jonathan. You have the one with
Yeah. I
you
have
want to go over
two.
prices, Jonathan?
Sure. Yeah. So this one, I believe here, if anyone wanted to, whoops, as it falls, to start here, you guys, anyone that's wanting to try, you can customize anything that you want with the corresponding candle.
Yeah,
And they're at $58
correct.
for
Oh,
that there.
so
So
that's the box that you receive as a subscriber for 34 a month. And if you
yes.
buy it outside of the subscription, you're not subscriber. It's 58. And
58.
next year the subscription will be 42 a month, and the box will be 58 still. And
Okay.
the box that Maggie has in her hands, which is the 3 times 10 ml, yeah,
98.
is 98. Yeah, which is a good
It's
way
a,
to try. I mean, we do the we
yes.
as we expand on the creation of our scents, we do different boxes. We have. Right now we have a box with only Pascal Gaurin fragrances, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
One with only the fragrances by Celine, one that has only ouds. One that has
Mm-hmm.
only fragrances that have been aged in the same oak barrel. We're gonna keep customizing it like this, and then you can also choose the 3 scents that you want. You just choose
Yeah.
them on the website, and then we get them to you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
We're
And
going, by
that's
the way, that's my next logistical nightmare. Just those inserts with the 310 ml. We're gonna run out of it at the beginning of the month, and we're not gonna get the. It's gonna be sold out for a couple of weeks, I'm sure. And I shouldn't say that because people are gonna buy them even more. But it's going to be.
Hey, they can wait though, but yeah, that's amazing. And you have some heavy hitters as far as
yes.
perfumers and the noses behind these. I mean, I mean, a lot of them. I just recently had purchased a Lab on Fire. A lot of the perfumers that you've worked with have worked with that house too,
Yes.
with California Snow, even Mackenzie Riley. I think did Meander, which is
Yeah.
beautiful. We actually just tried that recently, Victoria. Music for a while, Carlos did that. I adore that by Frederick Malle.
Yeah.
So you guys have the best of the best as far as the noses behind all of these amazing, amazing scents.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we did the first collection with 5
Awesome.
perfumers, and they're all absolutely extraordinarily talented. And we are introducing 4 new perfumers in the second collection. So it's going to be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So, and
awesome.
now I want to be really cognizant of everybody's time. So I know you and Victoria have been speaking too about, Victoria says she doesn't normally wear fragrances that she does not have within the store. So I'll just leave it at that. And,
So in order for
see,
me to wear it, it has to
yeah,
be in my store.
Exactly.
she was like, there's no choice.
So we decided that we will collab on this, right, Fabrice?
Yes, we did. I'm very excited,
Yeah.
actually.
Something
Awesome.
from
We're going to.
subscription to retailers.
That's
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yes, I'm super excited. We're going to do, and I don't know if I don't know if the brand, I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping it's going to work, and I'm sure that in your beautiful perfumery, it's going to be a success. We're trying, and I'm super honored and happy to try with you. We have selected 5 perfumeries in the US, and including Victoria's, and I'm very excited. And we're going to just
incredible.
start that, and it's going to start in September, early at the beginning of September.
Awesome.
And I'm going to come to your perfumery, Victoria. I don't know. We need to firm up the date, but I'm super excited to come.
Let me know because I'm coming.
You
train
better,
everyone.
girl.
I'm coming.
And I'm hoping to meet you all then when I come, and we can do a little event and just meet.
Yes, that'd be
awesome.
It's so huge congratulations to you both for, that. I will say too, I think, I don't know if you caught it when you first came on, Fabrice, but the way that I have been able to experience my love of fragrances, because it goes over 10 years, but to be able to do that in somewhere that shares that same passion locally, and that puts the same effort into connecting like you do with your audience has really brought the community, especially in the area, so much closer. So it's so exciting for me to know that I could always go and be able to test something in store with Victoria, because not only is she a frag head like we are, but she has the perfumery, and there's no other place in our proximity that we can go ahead and do that. So it's so exciting. I can't even put into words that it'd be able to be there.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah,
I'm very
super
excited. I'm very excited. And also to go back to the beginning of this conversation, also because the first retailer that I ever spoke to about, or DM'd with about, is Victoria. So it's we're closing the circle here. It's perfectly.
Like the part of the group.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
She knows her stuff, and she is
she
picky. So I mean, anything I'll be like, Victoria, isn't this nice? And she's like,
Nope.
But she's so picky about how she curates her stuff, and that's just a testament to the quality that you guys have, and her knowledge as well. So I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
It's the beginning of a new adventure. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
it will.
I can't wait to meet you in person. It's going to be really nice.
Yes, me too. Everybody meets in Raleigh. Everybody comes to Raleigh.
Yes, it's booming. We have Apple coming. We have Amazon here. I mean, it's just continually.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Headquarters constantly, as far as it's a huge IT area. So I think a study the other day said 87 people move into the Raleigh-Durham area on a daily basis, which is one of the top 5.
80 of them are Russians, probably.
Really?
Yeah, they come from California to here, and they're buying houses to the left and to the right.
And I was born and raised, like Maggie, I was born and raised in New York City. We moved here from Raleigh. Yeah, so, I was closer into the city, but so we relocated here as well, so.
Wow.
It's very very popping area, but that's super exciting. Vika or Maggie, did you have anything else, or Fabrice, before we did the giveaway?
I have one more question for Fabrice, but I'll let Vika go and talk.
No, you go because I want.
Both of you go.
It's just a quick question. Would you ever consider a discovery set?
So I have this question very often. The subscription itself is the discovery set for me. I created the subscription as a way to sample the entire brand, right?
Love it.
So for that reason, we didn't do a discovery set. However, I have created a discovery set for Victoria, because it's not for Victoria to sell. So it's for Victoria to have on her point of use, on her point of sale, so she can show all the scent at once to subscribers. And so creating this, I'm like, well, now that we have all those fragrances, we could sell that.
Yeah.
And we could sell, we have come to a point where we have unveiled them the way we want to unveil them. So if somebody's interested in buying them all, why not? So the answer is not yet, but maybe.
That would
And
be
in the
a great.
meantime,
That's
Victoria is
a.
the only one who's going to have it.
It's a great
Oh,
gift.
woohoo.
It's a not for nothing, but it's a really great gift, especially now for the holidays. You should consider. I think it's a good way to give somebody a gift set like that, and then they can purchase their full size bottle. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's just a good way to kind of entry people into the house where they're able to test all of them at one time and then
Yeah.
figure out which one they like, and
Yeah.
then they'll purchase a full
Yeah.
size bottle. So it kind of drives you. It's a good marketing strategy, I think. As
Plus,
far as
when we do meeting with perfumers,
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
master classes, yes.
yes,
Yeah.
we'll need the discovery set
Yes,
for all
yes,
the
yes,
16 people invading the Zoom call.
yes.
Victoria does amazing, like meeting with the perfumers, and it's been so eye-opening to just hear directly from the person or the creative director or the founder. So when could we expect this to potentially be in La Perfumerie?
Well, I have proposed a date, which Victoria needs to tell me if it works at the end of the month. So, Victoria, you tell me.
Soon, very soon.
Very
Before
soon.
you could
Awesome.
blink, it's gonna be here.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
coming. Yeah.
Nice. That's super exciting. Well, I know in the interest of everyone's time, and we did talk about, I told everyone about the giveaway, which is actually the mineral and cedar, which is for Fabrice has been so kind enough to sponsor and give. And it
So
is
sweet.
such
favorite.
an amazing scent. Victoria, you said it's your favorite too.
After plum and cognac.
After plum, yeah, that started you on it. Yeah, it is. It's such a. It's though plum and cognac. I'll stay on my screen. Plum and cognac sits here, and mineral and cedar's here. It's like, to me, very different ends of the spectrum, but it's a beautiful, beautiful spectrum.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so we had talked about that. We usually always do a question. I don't know if we talk so much. If we actually, I'm gonna have to tweak the question slightly to make sure that we get it correctly. So
People
I was
get
just
ready.
thinking in the back of my mind. But yeah, so this, I want to just clarify, it is for US and Canada only at this time. So guys, if you answer correctly, but you're not in one of those locations at this time, we do apologize for that, but just make sure if you're answering it that you are in one of those locations. So I tweaked it a little bit, but the question, if everybody is ready, before I say it, any things we want to say? We're good? Okay.
Yes.
So we talked about the house having 3 different distinct names currently. Obviously, there's going to be more, which is awesome to know. But what are the 3 names that the house is represented of?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it was tweaked a little bit, but we didn't get super into the exact definitions of each one. So I thought it'd be better just to go ahead and say that, since we did talk about that quite a bit. And 2 of the names are actually on the packaging. So yeah. Cliniques and meditation, memory, scent of wood. Scents of wood. We're close with that one there. Yeah.
The third one?
I can't see any comments at all.
Oh, no.
I
Okay.
wasn't able to see for some time, but then it kind of started popping. But I think Jonathan sees.
I see them. So guys, if you can put the 3 in one comment. So some of you have gotten 1, some have got another. Scent wood, memory. So yeah, a lot of what we talked about with like the meditation and the memory or the feeling are basically the expressions of the names, not the actual names themselves.
To name them.
But we did have Duft One, whole sense. So we've okay, that's pretty. We've got 2 coming on there. So you guys can Google. Go ahead and Google. So the first was
the Japanese one.
Yes. Google what the Japanese one is. Come on, guys. Or like try to spell it phonetically.
Come on,
but yes,
Google.
That's pretty funny. That's
very good.
Very
So
creative.
Correct.
we have okay. So JJ
correct.
Cole Born got it right. Sense of Wood is
All right.
the English one. La Âme de Bois and
Congrats.
Shinrin Yoku. So you will be receiving the mineral and cedar and the corresponding candle. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yep.
this person will also get. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Congrats.
Just DM me and I'll get all the information to Fabrice so that we can do that. But yeah, Fairies of Wood, that's going to be the German one. Yeah,
Yes,
I think that was more with that. But we so appreciate your time, Fabrice, and talking with the three of us.
Yeah.
It was my pleasure.
We look forward to continuing the relationship offline too. And, you know, we are so excited to see where Sense of Wood continues to go and that it will also be in La Perfumerie USA. So guys, feel free, if you have any questions, send us direct messages. And make sure that you're following us all because we try to do lives and make it very interesting with different founders and houses that really resonate with us. And we're so appreciate that they are willing to come on and talk with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I will save this. I'll save this so you guys can check back, catch the replay, and ask any questions that you may have.
Thanks, everyone. So many followers,
Thank you.
like viewers this time.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
over. I saw 43 at one
Me
point,
too.
so that's an all-time high. I think it made it even gone higher
Nice.
than
Thanks,
that. So
everyone.
that's
Thank
great.
you.
that's wonderful.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
everyone.
guys so much.
Looking forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, have a
Here.
yes,
Everybody.
same.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good
Fabrice.
evening, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Good night,
Good evening.
everyone.
Take care.